From 1847 to 1852, three leading plantation families in the Tennessee River Valley of northern Alabama faced total collapse amid events so unsettling that local papers withheld the complete details. 23 individuals perished across these properties, some from fever, others in baffling accidents, and several through what the county coroner termed only an unnatural cessation of vital functions. The link connecting these calamities stayed concealed within ledgers, correspondence, and testimonies that courts sealed for more than a century. At the heart of each disaster was a single woman whose name surfaced in ownership documents, household records, and ultimately court cases. Yet her real account was intentionally buried by families eager to safeguard their standing, and a judiciary reluctant to face what her life exposed about the bedrock of Southern life. The tale centers on Rachel, a woman whose sharp mind and resolve laid bare the deepest flaws of antebellum Alabama. What started as an ordinary estate purchase in spring 1847 sparked a chain of occurrences that three families fought vainly to halt, even as they confronted powers of their own making. Limestone County in northern Alabama had thrived through the 1840s on cotton, with the Tennessee River easing shipment to New Orleans markets. Three families ruled the social order in the county's eastern districts. The Rutledges held Fairmont, a 2,400-acre estate worked by 87 enslaved individuals. Samuel Rutledge had come from South Carolina in 1838 with inherited wealth and legislative ties. His wife Catherine hailed from Virginia with airs of nobility. Their home included three offspring, two sons studying at college and a 19-year-old daughter, Lydia, drawing suitors from nearby planters' sons. 5 miles upstream, James Haville ran Riverside, a smaller yet more up-to-date operation. At 43, he served as county magistrate with eyes on higher office, demanding careful image control. His wife Margaret was a decade younger. They had 4 children. The third clan, the Crenshaws at Oak Ridge, functioned with less show but superior results. Daniel Crenshaw, a 51-year-old widower, managed his 1,800 acres with strict focus on yields. His 3 grown children centered the household on farming output. In April 1847, Samuel Rutledge visited Mobile and paused at an estate auction. Among the 37 enslaved people offered was a woman named Rachel, about 24, listed as house, trained, able to read and write, skilled in sewing and piano, and speaking French and English fluently. The entry specified sale by court order, with a condition that the buyer remove her at least 100 miles from Mobile. The cost was unusually low at $400, far below the $200 or more for capable house workers. Rutledge saw practical value. His wife required aid in grooming their daughter for society, and a French, proficient, learned servant would fill that role while boosting prestige. The price and relocation clause hinted at issues, but the auctioneer called it a mere procedural matter. Rutledge bought her and sent her to Limestone County. Upon arrival at Fairmont 3 weeks later, Catherine approved. Rachel stood tall with light brown skin and poised demeanor. She spoke deferentially and showed instant skill. Catherine set her to tutor Lydia in French dialogue and fine embroidery. For 6 weeks, all went well. Rachel matched her description, quiet, effective, and adept at household relations. But by June, shifts emerged. Lydia began lingering with Rachel, sharing whispers that stopped when others neared. The home's mood changed subtly. Grew awkward, enslaved workers tense. Unseen by all, Rachel had started probing gently about cotton values, prompt debt payers, families with eligible daughters, and sons prone to gambling or drink. Each query seemed harmless alone, yet she was building a precise web of county influence. She noted Samuel's hidden ledger of heavy betting losses and his risky loans against crops. She sensed Catherine's polished front hid money worries. Above all, she spotted Lydia's dreamy nature and sheltered views, traits ripe for shaping. By July, Rachel was essential. Catherine leaned on her for events. Samuel valued her order. Lydia saw her as a friend. The other enslaved accepted her. On July 14, 1847, Samuel pored over worsening accounts in his study. Rachel brought coffee, then hesitated as she left. "Sir, pardon my forwardness, but I heard you speak of the Havils at supper. I once served in Mobile, where dealings involved Mr. Havil's brother. There are financial details about that house you might value." Samuel glanced up, then waved her to a seat. Rachel detailed Havil's failed ventures, hidden obligations, and shady associates, facts delivered calmly like stock lists. Samuel should have probed a servant's source. He didn't need overrode caution. Her specifics checked out. Soon, he resolved to leverage them for a deal easing his woes. He missed that he'd grown reliant on a woman who'd ruined her prior 3 owning families over 8 years. Sold afar because Mobile officials spotted the trend but couldn't charge her. A storm that night cleaved the oak by the main house. July 14, 1847, launched tragedies needing state lawmakers' involvement and setting rules for trying enslaved people on offenses law scarcely grasped. Samuel acted boldly from desperation. On July 22, he visited Havil ostensibly about tools. After pleasantries, he cited precise rumors of Havil's 1008, 145 land flops, details proving deep knowledge. Havil gripped his chair. The facts were true and private. Exposure would end his magistrate role. Rutledge offered a cotton partnership, safeguarding our interests and good names. It was blackmail in business guise. Havil saw it, agreed after feigned civility. $3,000 to clear Rutledge's debts, plus support for Havil's ambitions. Rutledge left assured of salvation, blind to Rachel's true info sources. Months of eavesdropping via enslaved travelers whom whites assumed shared nothing. Other servants noted Rachel's rise. Cook Bess murmured unease. That one's trouble. Saw it in Mobile. Cousin told of a woman like her, family shattered, deaths unexplained. Others brushed it off. Rachel had erred nowhere, just gained trust. Unknown was her next step with Lydia. Through August lessons, Rachel wove in new ideas, barriers on Southern women, parallels in treating enslaved and elite daughters as assets for male control. She likened a sellable slave to a debt-settled bride. Lydia, unheard before, absorbed it. Her bottled anger at a scripted future, prized only for alliances. "Your father negotiates you like goods." Rachel said one day, "He eyes the Crenshaw boy for ties." Were you asked, "How do you know?" Lydia breathed, "I glimpse his letters. The boy drinks, gambles, but capital matters more than your wishes." No deal was set, but Rachel framed guess as truth, knowing Lydia's naivety. "I don't love Thomas Crenshaw." "Love isn't factored, Miss Lydia. You're stock. Valuable, but stock, in that we're alike." Weeks on, Rachel nurtured outrage with empathy, pushed journaling, claimed rights beyond fathers, sketched self-made women. She forged grounds for revolt, priming Lydia to break the family. By September, Samuel's Havil packed strain. Extra funds needed, resentment brewing. Rachel warned of Havil bad-mouthing Samuel's habits to escape honorably. Samuel exploded, accusing Havil publicly at a farm meeting. Scandal erupted. Elite men at war. Rachel had sparked consuming feud while advancing Lydia. On September 18, 1847, Lydia vanished from Fairmont, leaving a note rejecting paternal schemes for self-chosen life. Phrases on rights and autonomy rang alien to Catherine. Panic swept, searches, Catherine's breakdown, interrogations and whippings of enslaved. Rachel feigned horror, tears flowing. Hunts lasted 3 weeks. Papers posted rewards. Havil fueled gossip of Rutledge's lax home, breeding dangerous notions. Truth was grimmer. Lydia hadn't fled solo. Rachel had primed her mind, then linked her to underground free black and fugitive networks. Lydia thought it independence. It was calculated ruin, blinding the family to wider plays. As they hunted, Rachel eyed Daniel Crenshaw. She'd impressed him at an August gathering with wit and poise. Lacking a mistress, he sought to buy her skill. Late September, amid search costs and paranoia, Samuel sold her for $900, big gain when cash was critical. Rachel left Fairmont October 3, 1847, leaving wreckage. Lydia gone, deals crumbling, Catherine ill, repute shattered. Bess crossed herself at the kitchen, mercy on the Crenshaws. That one bears ruin like fever. She was right. Rachel soon adapted at Oak Ridge, where Daniel prized efficiency over flair since his 1842 widowhood, stripping frills for profit. His children, Margaret 23, William 21, Samuel 19, were drilled in practical arts. Rachel saw tougher ground, Daniel unmoved by polish or allure, kids, especially Margaret, sharper than Lydia. She shifted to subtle utility, flawless accounts, cost cuts, farm economics grasp. Soon Daniel consulted her on rotations, markets, gear. This irked Margaret, who'd run the house post. Mother, resenting intrusion, smart and pragmatic, she alone distrusted Rachel's perfection. Father, isn't it odd, this low-priced woman out-educated for her station. Rutledge's fell right after her arrival. Coincidence? Daniel waved it off. Rutledge's own faults. Rachel an asset. No room for female fits. Margaret quieted but observed. Rachel's gaze tracking talks. Queries to field hands, no to visitors. Nothing provable, but instinct grew. She schemed beyond duties. Rachel indeed needed patience here. No easy insecurities. She hunted real flaws, finding by December in records. Steady small loans signaling strain despite profits. Unsustainable in 2 years. Deeper probe revealed. Secret bottomland buy to expand. Betting on high cotton. Useful, but she waited for chaos leverage. It came January 1848 via desperate Havel, post-Rutledge flop, seeking Crenshaw's stability for factoring. Rachel overheard visit, serving unseen. Havel's generous terms to fund land sans exposure. Post-departure, she warned Daniel of Havel's Rutledge sabotage. Full reversal of her Samuel tale. No cross-check possible amid hate. She fed doubts gently. Daniel spurned Havel, who blamed Rutledge's. Three-way enmity set, but core ruin needed a hidden crack. Rachel found it mid-February in William's year. Long secret romance with Anna Pritchard, shopkeeper's daughter. Far below par, he planned post-secret wedding reveal. Via enslaved gossip, Rachel knew all. Meets, letters, March vows. February 19, she staged Daniel finding a key letter, accidentally, sans William. Fury erupted. Confrontation revealed prior marriage, pregnancy. Daniel disinherited, banished William that night. Siblings' pleas failed. Rachel savored fracture, unity gone, wisdom tarnished. External crush came March 1848. Josiah Fletcher, real creditor rep, demanded $8,000 on hidden debt. Stymied by Rachel's network tips. Daniel, cornered, sold 20 enslaved, splitting families brutally at March 28 auction. Rachel watched blank, faced she'd engineered it, knowing pain for goal. Margaret saw her mask slip to cold math, confronted. You caused this Williams exposure, father's crisis, the sales. Rachel, I'm property, Miss Margaret. No power, troubles from your kin's choices. Liar, I'll prove it, you'll hang. Rachel smiled. Proof means admitting property outsmarted you all. Your father duped by owned goods. Pride won't allow. Margaret silent, truth but unbearable. By April 1848, pattern clear. 3 families reeled, ties toxic, all tied to Rachel. But no proof for law, she broke none. Merely White's choices. As summer neared, she eyed finale with Havel. Yielding death's law couldn't ignore. Too late for saves. Havel's mid-1848 plight was dire. Failed pacts, Riverside failing. June brought mobile factor Edmund Fairbanks for partnerships. Talks advanced to July agreement. Fairbanks sought household help. Havel praised Rachel's near-supernatural skills, arranged Oak Ridge view. She dazzled, market savvy, French ease, math prowess. Private Fairbanks, Rachel talked per his testimony. She exposed Havel's full debts, frauds, trap intent. Lawyer, like facts, shaken, Fairbanks demanded proof. Havel couldn't refute core truths. Deal died. Havel branded untrustworthy. His rage at Rachel's sabotage confronted Crenshaw for punishment. Crenshaw self, wary defended. Public clash sealed divides. Rachel now spotlighted as player. Margaret's doubts spread. Havel traced history. Prior owners French Creole Louis de Lacre 1008, 143-46 ruined. Beaumont merchants. Robichaud's plantation early 1008, 140 Zoll wrecked in 2-3 years. He pressed Sheriff Thomas Yarborough. Pattern of orchestrated ruin via smarts. Yarborough, no crime, no theft, poison, harm, just owners' bad calls, prosecuting property for superior wit, impossible, Havel obsessed, August offered $2,500 buy, refused, petitioned court banish as danger, Judge Horace Payton denied, no documented threats, intelligence no ban ground. Defeat drove vigilante, September 14 night, 4 men to seize for Texas. Rachel forewarned enslaved, armed resistance injured 2, routed rest. Crenshaw repelled with shotgun, injured confessed Havel, arrested for slave theft. Ironic victim, Rachel. She seized chance, provoked failure for his exposure, but cultivated young Samuel Crenshaw's bond 19, idealistic, seeing her humanity, anti-slavery stirrings. She nurtured doubt, posed tragic genius. He loved, she encouraged Sans risk. Late October lie, Havel's new kill plot, freedom only escape north, Samuel planned aid, routes allies joining, crimes but love, justified, November 3, 1008, 148, betrayal. She told Daniel of plot, with forged proof, loyal uncoverer, confrontation, Samuel confessed love, morals, plans, begged free union, Daniel asylum, committed him for instability, sold Rachel November 8 to Mississippi trader in Coffle. Leaving, she said, everything I did, you made necessary, seeming end, families broken, threat gone sans hard questions, but final trigger absent, deaths undeniable, first, November 23, 1008, 148, Havel suicide, in study, pistol, despair note on trial/ruin. Margaret Havel contested, no suicide intent days prior, odd wound right temple, left-handed, missing docs, Yarborough, locked house, no entry, suicide. She hired Binkerton Abraham Cornwell, interviews, records, timeline, Rachel Central. Report, systematic ruin via manipulation, true info, no crimes, deaths possibly arranged/induced remotely. Margaret to Judge Payton, unique danger but no charge, distant, no proof, Crenshaw's Samuel asylum withdrawn. Margaret petitioned legislature with Havel widow for manipulation laws, posed for implying agency, second death, January 17, 1008, 149, Daniel crushed in gin accident. Margaret, deliberate, careful man, sold hand messenger from Rachel's trader denied. Yarborough, no tamper, messenger vanished. Believed murder, unprovable. Margaret's united, Cornwell tracked Rachel. Mississippi 8 days re-sold thrice. March 1008. 149, Texas, Henry Dalton. Interview, clinical methods, networks, exploitation, motive, prove superiority, make pay for theft of freedom born free Virginia, enslaved via fraud post, father death, deaths, designed outcomes, not direct, info to motivated, pressures to despair/suicide. The law says I can't act, you live with it. Dalton refused hold Sans charges, Cornwell back April 1849, report alarms committee, debate new laws vs. precedents 3rd, May 2, 1849, Samuel asylum suicide hanging. Margaret shattered, vowed kill Rachel, to Texas May 15 pistol, ready. Rachel sold weeks prior, traced to Louisiana widow Elise de Lacre remarried Louis' wife, first ruined owner. June 24 arrival, Rachel summoned, eyes sad recognition. I knew pursuit, not you. 3-hour talk Elise present, Rachel's history, free born, educated, enslaved by scam, rage to resistance, methods, observe, map, trust, build, true info strikes, deniability. Deaths, indirect, or others justice, Samuel unintended, Margaret pistoled, Ron, leave for justice, Rachel, won't shoot, here rest, Elise, bought for confession 80, page methods/philosophy/critique, slavery breeds such, expect fight. Margaret, no excuse, Elise, understanding prevents more, Rachel, kill proves system, spare proves unstoppable, seeds self-destruct, Margaret holstered, no kill, take confession public hex, Bo's methods humanity. Rachel publicizes full person, hood, danger to slavery, Margaret took document, Rachel stayed uncertain future, 1,850 laws vague, unenforceable, contradiction unsolved, Rachel vanished post 1,850, escaped. Died unknown, impacts Samuel Rutledge died 1,853 unrecovered, Lydia, Ohio 1,851 renamed no return, Margaret Haville remarried 1,852 distant, Margaret Crenshaw unmarried documented obsession 1,867 journal, admire/hate enemy who won, died 1,871, papers archived, studied 1960s, confession restricted post 1970s, profound resistance text, key quote, intelligence over violent, sphere minds not hands, unchainable thought, this reveals mind as ultimate weapon, human toll of dehumanizing systems. Rachel, justified fight or unforgivable ruin,